All of these people in my life acting berserk. I'm feeling all pissed off and hurt. I need to know if I am the jerk. Oh, am I the jerk? Oh.
Are you a jerk if you use a handicap stall? That is the question, this email we got today. It says, I was at CVS and I need to use the bathroom. I always try to wait till I get home, but this was urgent. Thankfully, the ladies' room was empty, so I grabbed the handicap stall. I deal with bouts of really bad anxiety, and confined spaces often triggers an attack. Well, then I heard the door open. So I quickly finished, and I opened the door to the stall. And there was a woman, of course, in a wheelchair, who immediately went on the attack, calling me a selfish pig for using the handicap stall. I explained, well, I'm claustrophobic, and I apologized profusely. Well, then she blasted people my age, saying we need to toughen up and stop being such a bunch of babies. I quickly left, feeling not very anxious, but second-guessing myself. Aren't mental health problems considered a disability also? Does that give you a good enough reason to use a handicap stall? And what are the rulings on that? If there's not a handicapped person around, can you use a handicap stall? Because they might show up.
Oh, I feel like we all
it's tough because the handicap stall is the nicest one. Sometimes it has its own little private sink. You have more space. It's the sexiest of all the stalls.
I mean, you got caught is why this is such a thing.
Right. Well, and I could see, I'm sure probably everybody here has used a handicap stall at one point in their life.
Definitely.
Yeah. So,
But the other thing too is how you don't know if someone's got a handicap sometimes, and you see what I'm saying. Be careful when you judge somebody for not having, because you don't know if they do or not.
and I think she's trying to use, being claustrophobic and wanting more space as her reason. That's her own handicap. Does that qualify, claustrophobia, as a handicap and give you the permission to then use a handicap stall?
I mean, just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there.
Well, that's what you got to be careful about.
Right.
Because there's things that you may not see with the naked eye that people are going through.
Yeah. Matthew argues, handicap stalls are not just intended for handicapped people. That's his statement.
I think if you go in and the stalls are open, you can use whatever you want. Right? Like, you don't have to hold that one for only handicapped people to use it. Like, what if there's only two stalls, a handicap and a regular?
Right, absolutely.
And you're about to crap your pants, and you have a big meeting.
You know that's happened.
And you're wearing all white.
If you're going to crap your pants, you definitely want to do it in the handicap stall because then you can wash your pants in the sink.
Yeah.
You can't do that in the regular stall.
I'll tell you, overwhelmingly, people are saying that she is not a jerk for using the handicap stall. 79% of people said you are not the jerk in this situation. A lot of people are defending using a handicap stall.
People
It's
be
just
pooping.
bigger. You have more room, especially if I've got a kid with me. I always go to the handicap stall because the other ones are just too little to navigate with a kid.
Right.
But if the person would have filmed the person coming out of the handicap stall and put that on social media,
Sure.
social media would turn on that person, not the person that used it.
Right.
They'd be skewered on social media.
Isn't that the greatest concern today about doing anything that might be questionable is you get that wrong person and have an interaction with them, and you're right, you could wind up a viral video.
That's the modern day weapon. Everyone's got one. So that's all anyone does now is pull out their phone and start filming. You're about to get blasted, Virginia.
Scary world we're in. Scary world. Okay, this person wants to know if they're a jerk for not inviting their friend on a group trip. It says, my friends and I are going to Key West for a 4-day weekend. Now, for this trip, we're going to be staying in this cool little house on a little island.
Ooh.
The homes are small, but it's almost $800 a night.
$800 a night?
Yep.
Per person?
I think per couple that they're doing here. And I guess the house is a size where it's not multiple bedrooms, maybe, I guess. One of our friends is a new mom, and we know that she doesn't really have a lot of time or extra money. And even if she could afford the house, we want to go out for dinners and then do some bar hopping. But, she's got a baby. So are we being jerks if we don't at least ask her? And I almost feel like we'd be jerks just letting her know what we're doing and how much it cost. So I kind of feel like I'm going to be a bit of a jerk either way. If I don't ask her, I'm a jerk. And then if I do ask her and say, hey, we're all staying in this nice place, it's $800 a night, am I being a jerk there too? What is the least jerky approach? How would you handle it, Virginia?
I
You think
mean,
you should ask her or just go and deal with the repercussions later?
you don't have to invite everybody to everything. You know, sometimes you do some stuff with some friends, and sometimes you do some stuff with other friends, and I don't think you're ever obligated to invite everybody to everything.
Like, for example, if I was working on a toy diorama, I would invite Denny's over to hang out with. I wouldn't invite Kevin over because I know that's not his thing. See what I'm saying?
If this friend is a new mom,
Yeah.
she probably doesn't want to go to Key West anyway.
But do you give her that choice? By saying, hey, we're all going. We know you're part of the circle.
She's going to bring the new baby to Key West?
You can do Key West a couple different ways. You can do family style or you can do rage style.
Right, but if you're all in one little house together.
I think everybody's getting their own little house.
Oh.
Yeah, is how I'm reading that. So I think that's why they're not thinking about asking is because of the cost.
I mean, if that's the reason, just throw it out there and say, hey, everybody's getting their own little house. We're doing this. If you're up for it, here's what we're doing. We'd love you to come, and we understand if you can't with the new one.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay, so it's better to at least throw out the invitation.
yeah, now if they're all in their own little houses, that's different than all in one house together.
It is weird, but communicating with your friends and loved ones sometimes can work. Just to, just talk.
I think she just thinks that we're flaunting it. We'd be a jerk if we ask her. You'd be like, yeah, we're all going to go on this kind of expensive vacation, and we know you really couldn't afford it, but we're just kind of waving it in your face. I think that's what her fear is with asking.
Gotcha.
Is it, well, look at you. You guys all have great careers and make a ton of money, and here I am, a mom and don't have the kind of expendable cash you do.
Well, then why are you guys friends then? I mean, you guys, they sound awful together.
Yeah, I think, you know what, I see this a bit in my daughter's life. She's mid to late 20s, and I think you do kind of get to that place where there is some separation that starts to happen because people get married earlier than others. They start having kids earlier than others, and that changes your friend group. And I think sometimes that's hard, and you feel a little bit guilty, but that really is just life, and it will take you to different places, to different people.
Especially if one of your friends marries someone you don't like, that can change the dynamic of a group or a friendship.
I like giving the invitation, and look, you may not have to go as far as to start saying how expensive these houses are and whatnot. You could just say, hey, we're going to Key West, all of us. We plan on doing some bar hopping and restaurants. I know you got the kid, but we didn't want to leave you out.
There you go.
And if you leave it as benign as that, she may be like, gosh, I'd love to go. But,
Maybe next year.
Right. Maybe.
Yeah. You don't have to get into the money of it all just yet, because she might even turn it down before she knows.
Yeah, I think so. I think you just go on ahead and invite her, and then she gets to make her own decision. You don't have to say how much your little place is costing, so you don't have to make her feel guilty about it.
This is how we do. It's the KBJ Show.